The following episode of the Comics and Crypto podcast is for informational purposes only, and anything expressed by the hosts or their guests is solely their opinion. This podcast does not constitute financial advice, and anyone wishing to invest should seek their own independent financial or professional help. Have fun and enjoy the show.
Hi, I'm Sean O'Hare, and I know comics.
Hi, I'm Spencer Vogel, and I know crypto.
Hi, I'm Kevin Lee Loader, and I don't know shit. This is the Comics and Crypto podcast.
Comics and crypto, crypto and comics, collectors world in a digital age. Comics and crypto, crypto and comics, it's where the next billionaires will be rich. Comics and crypto.
Hello everyone, and welcome back to the Comics and Crypto podcast. Today, we will be discussing a very cool crypto project that connects the physical and digital world of collecting. We are excited to introduce founders Krish, Moran, and Blake Hatch of Viridian Exchange, the premier digital marketplace of physically backed collectibles, enabling users to buy, sell, and trade their trading cards as NFTs on the Ethereum blockchain. Let's get into the interview.
So today on the podcast, we have a very special guest, actually two special guests. We have Krish and Blake from Viridian Exchange, which is a company that I've talked about previously on the podcast. So we're super excited to have them on and interview them and have them speak a little bit about what they're working on. So Krish and Blake, why don't you introduce yourselves?
We have been friends for a really long time, avid collectors since we were about 5 years old, really into Pokemon sports cards. And I think it was last year, just around this time, Blake had called up his mom to get his old Pokemon cards just because the market was booming, everything was going crazy. And so I did the same. We got our old collections together and realized that they were worth a shit ton. What was it, like?
Yeah, they were worth
15,
around
000.
Wow.
Wow. And so just thinking about how these collectibles are currently being traded, notably Pokemon sports cards on in their highest value on something like eBay or traditional e-commerce platforms. We just kind of felt the market was really, really inefficient, insecure, and there wasn't, ample opportunities for buyers and sellers to always be there and have that availability. And so that's when we came up with Viridian Exchange. And so what we do is we aim to bring physical collectibles to the digital world via NFTs. So this allows users to instantly buy, sell, and trade their real physical cards on the Ethereum blockchain. So how it works is we tether each NFT on our platform to an underlying physical collectible that we store and insure in our vault. So users can freely transact and interact with their cards in new ways and, have that instant nature of the circular economy without having to actually handle the physical asset itself. And so ultimately, as I mentioned before, we aim to increase the liquidity, transparency, and efficiency of the current physical collectibles market through cutting-edge blockchain-backed transactions.
That's awesome. So could you actually walk us through kind of step-by-step what it looks like? So if I had a Pokemon card that I wanted to list on your exchange, what is the step-by-step process for getting it listed and trading it and all that?
So the first step really is the user would go onto our site, their phone or their computer, and we have a module that we haven't put in yet in our beta, but it's coming soon, where they'd be able to take a picture of their card, upload a photo, and we have an algorithm that we built that extracts pertinent text from it. So, if you're looking at a Pokemon card, it'd say like Charizard, the year that it's coming from, the set that it's from, and other, important stuff that we need on our end and also like people would want to see on the exchange. And then from there, it creates a placeholder in their digital inventory, which kind of gives them that instant nature that it's there, it's being processed. They obviously can't trade the card yet because we haven't received it, we haven't verified, authenticated it. But it creates that placeholder in their inventory, and then through our platform, they can get a shipping label and also pay for insurance. From there, they just slap on the label, put it in a package, send it over to us. And then once we receive the card, we verify it and authenticate it. Blake can talk a little bit more about the authentication process soon. But once it's there, then it goes to our storage facility where we have an in-house API that allows for the people on contract for us to actually just take cards, throw them in a high-resolution scanner, and the cards are cropped, and the metadata that I talked about before that's pulled from those images as well as the scanner is sent to us that we can tether to the NFT and then mint them in directly into the user's inventory. And then from there, they can, exchange them on our site and interact with them.
That's awesome. Yeah, one of the things I really like about your platform is that you can basically, one card could change hands theoretically 1,000 times on your platform, and nobody ever has to touch the physical card. I think that's so cool.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, exactly.
And for the actual card itself, is it need to be graded? It has to be graded, correct? Or can it be a raw copy?
No, so we will authenticate raw cards. It is sort of like, especially if someone's planning on transacting on Ethereum with the gas fees, the majority of cards coming in will be graded, especially because like once it's minted, people kind of want like the value to be sort of easier to categorize. But we do take extremely high resolution scans of these cards before we mint them as NFTs. So if you look at a raw card on your site, you should be able to sort of figure out the condition of it pretty well, which Yeah.
That's awesome, because actually when I buy like raw comics on eBay, that's one of the biggest problems is photos. Mm-hmm. You don't really know exactly what you're getting. Yeah. So having that additional opportunity to assess the value like that is a big deal. So awesome, guys.
Yep. Yeah.
That's really cool.
Thank you.
Yeah. And so what does the withdrawal process take? So let's say that I bought a card on your exchange and now I decide that I actually want the physical, not just the digital version. How does that work?
Yeah. So essentially the user would go into their inventory, click on the card, and there's a little withdrawal button. And then from there, they'd fill out their address, their name, just like basic shipping info. And then once we get that information, we immediately send it out, process it to the user, and then the corresponding NFT is burned. So, that value that comes from actually tethering the NFT with the underlying physical asset is no longer there.
Gotcha.
And then, in the future, they could send it back onto our platform to be reprocessed. But at the time when the user withdraws it, they get it in their hand, and then the trace on our platform, that NFT is destroyed.
Gotcha. Yeah. How long does that withdrawal process take?
So from the point that they click withdraw, and then, our API would send that email to us, or the information to us, it'd take about 1 to 2 days for us to process that. Obviously as like volume increases, that's something that is just as we scale, but like for now it's very, very quick.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Yeah, and anytime something's also taken out of our storage facility, it's immediately burned. So the second it's in transit, the corresponding NFT is, burned, to make sure that, we want to guarantee, and sort of emphasize to our users that whenever you see an NFT up on our site, it is in secure storage and not, it's backing it in a secure way.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Cool.
Yeah. For the, you mentioned before Blake, the authentication process. What does that look like?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I'm the main authenticator currently. I've been in cards, sports cards and Pokemon cards, for years. And I can sort of walk you through like specifically, for Pokemon. One thing kind of people don't realize when they see like these little pieces of cardboard is that the printers used to create them can be north of like $1 million per printer. Especially those, you see the crazy like foil cards, really like, the shiny cardboard as people call it. The process sort of for authenticating those is looking at the inks, either with infrared cameras. You can see like differences in ink that aren't like visible to the naked eye. Also UV light, you light shine under UV light. Yeah. And then also the card construction. Every like legitimate card has sort of a 3-layer construction, 2 sort of white layers, and then the middle layer is black. You can see it clearly if you rip it, but if you use like a jeweler's loupe or like a microscope, you can see it as well. So sort of all these things come together. And, at the end of the day, like I said, with the high price of those printers being sort of the barrier of entry for these like counterfeiters to actually like properly fake a card, none of them really have the funds to do that. So if you look at all these, the features, the construction and the inks, you can figure out whether something's real or not.
Yeah. And so this is something as well that if we can't guarantee the authenticity of the card, then we look to third-party sources like CGC and PSA.
Gotcha.
And, as we scale, definitely like looking to have some sort of partnership with those companies. So the process is more streamlined for us. And then on top of that, as Blake mentioned, the majority of the cards that are going to be coming into us are already like investment grade cards. So, already looked at by PSA, CGC, other companies. So And then in that case, we're just looking at, the ID, whether it matches in their database, and, whether things look kosher there.
Yep. That makes sense. Yeah, something I envision that I think would be kind of cool is if you had a formal partnership with somebody like CGC and you had it like basically somebody sent a card or, comic book into CGC for grading, and then you guys had a partnership where it could be sent directly to your exchange from CGC. So it doesn't actually have to be sent back to the user for them to then send it. It'd be kind of cool to just go straight from raw to graded to on your exchange.
Yeah,
Definitely.
we are also like planning on sort of pre-partnership. We handle the grading for people because we've graded cards before, and it's you guys are familiar with comics with CGC. Some people it's not the hardest process, but some people just don't want to do it themselves. So if they send in a card for us and then they give us a little pay a little extra fee, we will do it for them, and then like you said, put it immediately on the site.
Gotcha. That's awesome. So I guess what asset types are you supporting at launch? What are you planning on doing like in the future?
So we're starting currently with Pokemon sports cards just because that's the market that we know the best. Like the infrastructure we have in place right now really supports those asset types really well. But we see it in the very near future, as early as Q1 of next year, as we're launching our mainnet, and like real volume is coming in, real collectibles are coming in. Definitely things like comic books, collectible coins, sealed video games is a huge market that Blake introduced me to as well. And other like sports memorabilia, stuff like that. Because, the overarching collectibles market is north of $100 billion. And so like the market that we're targeting right now, sports and Pokemon cards, that's, around $5.5 billion, but still something that's really attainable to get a good size of market share. And then once we, get our beachhead customers, then we can expand into a larger space.
That's great. So when do you guys expect to actually launch your mainnet application?
So we're thinking right now, just with the progress that we made and, launching our beta last week, we're looking towards the end of this quarter, end of December, early January.
Cool.
We're definitely on track to have we have basically the majority of our major features in. So from here, it's like refining, making sure everything's secure, getting our smart contracts audited, everything, in place to actually launch, start handling real people's money, real cards, real money, having all that in place, and then, building out some other cool features for the user to try out and experience.
Nice. Yeah, I got a chance to play around with the beta this past week, and it's looking really good, guys. Seriously. Yeah, I'm impressed.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
One of the features that I saw in there that I actually wanted to ask you guys about, Viridian packs. I thought that was super interesting. Could you explain that a bit? Yeah,
so essentially the Viridian packs, what's cool about them is that they themselves are NFTs, just like the cards themselves that are contained within them. So we kind of wanted to simulate that sort of secondary market with packs that already exists, where essentially like people will choose not to open packs from, like ages ago and trade them for like the value of the pack, separate sort of, it's obviously based on what's in them, but lots of people don't want to risk sort of opening them up and want to sort of like, have that guaranteed value. So people on our market can exchange the packs in the exact same way as the other NFTs. But then if you choose to open them, what happens is essentially we have a verifiably like random, selection of odds within the pack, depending on the tier of pack that you purchase. And that's all like public information. People can look at the odds in our packs and see how they work. And then when you open them, it mints a certain number of cards in your inventory and then burns the pack. So you never sort of, have that case where someone can either, open a pack and then, have the cards inside as well. It kind of mimics the real life experience of opening packs, which is what we wanted to capture online. We wanted to bring this sort of things we enjoy doing in real life with these cards and packs to the blockchain.
That's awesome. Yeah, I've actually really enjoyed the pack opening experience on a number of these collectibles, like on the Wax blockchain, for example. Yeah. They've done a really good job where, they show the visual of like you open the pack, it rips open, they have all this cool animation, and they come out one by one. It's a very similar feeling that they've replicated to opening packs in the real world. So it's very cool that you guys are doing something similar.
Yep. I actually have I've used those, the wax packs. I bought a couple of the tops ones.
Nice, yeah.
So that was definitely a big point of inspiration for the experience.
I love that. Yeah, I would really like to see other platforms, I guess, do that, and execute it as well as they have. Yeah, I've been very impressed with what they've done. Another question I had, so are you guys going to be having a cryptocurrency for your platform?
Yes, this is something that we had been mulling over for a while. And initially that was something that we planned on doing in order to raise capital, as well as, provide incentive for users as utility token. We've sidelined that idea for now. I think in the future, as we grow, as we have more users, more volume coming into our site, we could see something, like a governance token in order to allow users to make decisions on our platform, add new features, vote on things like that. But the whole utility token side right now, I think just with all the legal jurisdiction stuff going on in the US right now, it's just too rare for us as we're starting out.
Yeah.
The other portion too is, we wanted our site to be as seamless to use, especially for people who aren't familiar with blockchain. A lot of people are going to be coming in from the card side, the physical cards. And we wanted our site entirely to be usable with Ethereum, which is, people are more familiar with it from OpenSea or, any other one of those sites. So we wanted to sort of, if you have Ethereum and you just come to our site, you can use it. There's no frills, no switching between networks or anything.
Gotcha.
Oh, that's awesome.
Okay. So are you going to support like other cryptocurrencies besides ETH? Are you going to accept like credit cards in the future, things like that?
Yeah, so I had support for any ERC20 token to be supported. Currently, we're putting in USDT support, probably putting USDC, other stable coins. That one also conceptually is very easy for these physical card collectors who are used to thinking of everything in the US dollar. So they can sort of keep thinking about it that way while they use the crypto on our site if they want to.
Nice.
Yeah, as well as we're likely going to employ a third-party plugin on our site. I think Ramp Finance is one
nice. Yeah,
that we've been looking into.
Ramp's
where,
awesome.
yeah, essentially you can just pay with a credit card or other forms and just get that crypto immediately into your account. So it'd be the same thing as really if they were adding PayPal balance or going on a site and just adding wallet balance to their account.
Oh, nice.
Awesome. Yeah. Sean, Kevin, you guys have any other questions?
No, that's awesome.
I'm excitedly listening.
Yeah, exactly. I'm just more interested. I'm like, oh, this is cool.
My head movies are spinning.
Yeah. So, Krish and Blake, do you guys have anything else that you'd like to add? Anything we haven't talked about yet?
Definitely not. I mean, other than our beta we launched last week, super excited about it. We've been working on this thing for over a year now. I'd say we spent about 4 months on a platform that wasn't NFT based, but essentially just the same thing, but a digital marketplace without NFTs. About April, May of this year, we were just like, okay, we both know so much about blockchain. I think NFTs would be the perfect use case for this. So we tossed our old code in the trash, started grinding on this. So it's been really, exciting in the last week to finally see our work coming into fruition, seeing that there are decent amount of users on the site, not having too many issues. So, well, no issues so far, but, just getting that out there. And yeah, we're just really excited for what the future has to bring for us.
That's awesome, guys. Yeah, well, we're looking forward to it as well.
Yeah,
it's a really cool idea. I love it.
It's really exciting just to see how, for me, connecting the digital and physical world together is super special. And you see a lot of companies, not a lot, but few are starting to do that. I mean, the biggest one is probably Wax when they did the Funko Pop dolls. And you see how the digital NFTs and the physical collectibles. But like this is creating like real life utility, and it's really, really fun to see that. And it's exciting. So well done.
Yeah,
guys.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, we talked a lot about how like we've seen obviously the physical market for collectibles has been around for ages with comics and cards and stuff. And then we've seen OpenSea and stuff pushing the digital. And really like this, what we think is going to be its entirely own industry, which is that hybrid, truly hasn't emerged yet. You can clearly see it coming with companies such as ours and, some others bubbling up. But I think it's going to be an entire, its entire own huge section of the market at some point.
Yeah, definitely, Blake. I mean, even right now on this application called VEVE, we're seeing people get so excited about collecting comic books, so excited. And we constantly get hit up by people now who were never collectors in their entire life, are now obsessed with comic books to the point they are pumped about collecting physical comic books as well. Even now, recently, there was a partnership that they talked about. It was an application. They partnered with USPS, the Postal Service, and they just launched the first ever NFT stamps, and people went and bought physical stamps now, like the actual physical stamps to match the digital stamps, because they're that fucking pumped about collecting. And that, to me, it continues to prove to me that people are going to collect on both sides. And the world of collecting is only expanding. It's not going in one direction or the other. Very exciting, man. Yeah. So you're onto something really special, and I've seen it with my own eyes. We all have, and it continues to grow. So what you're doing, people are going to resonate. It's going to resonate with them very well. So
absolutely,
definitely.
Yeah, especially having the fact that you don't have to like send your physical things out all the time. You can have that NFT representation that just you can keep passing around and selling, and know that your physical copy is secured in a location. That's awesome.
Oh, I actually have one more question. The NFT that is connected to your physical item, can you share that outside of your application? Like, for example, I know like Twitter, they are going to allow you to have verified NFTs, right? Can you have that? Like, for example, if I want to show off, if I own like a 9.6 grade comic of Fantastic Four 1, can I show that off on my Twitter account, for example? Would that be a possibility?
Yeah, so our all of our NFTs are ERC 721, which is the most popular standard from the Ethereum blockchain. So you could go and sell our NFTs on something like OpenSea. The main things you do, if you want to withdraw them, you obviously have to bring them back to us, because NFT or OpenSea doesn't back our NFTs. But yeah, like you could, because you can take your wallet, off of our site, and you can see that you have those NFTs in your wallet. 100% you could connect it to your Twitter and show the verified comic on your profile, which I think is pretty cool.
That's awesome. Super cool. Oh yeah. As a collector,
Sean's excited.
Going back to your point, Sean, about how like bringing that whole experience of you have this super cool comic, super cool card, and you kind of want to flex it, you kind of want to show it off. That's kind of what NFTs have been in the last year. Just kind of everyone's flexing, everyone's showing off their art, their cool, stuff like that. We definitely want to bring it out to that, as well as, just the classic collector's experience, going to card shows, trading with other people in person, all that stuff onto our platform. So like a big feature that we're going to be offering soon is somewhat of a metaverse card show, where users can, buy, sell, and trade their cards live with other people 24/7. So not only, sending trade offers, but being able to actually sit down with someone, at these card shows. People carry around Pelican cases, I'm sure you guys know, with money and cards, all this stuff. And they go up to other people with these huge Pelican cases and they're like, hey, what you got? And they open up their cases and they're like, making their barters, making their deals. So we want to mimic that experience, really bring users the opportunity to take these NFTs that are, like traditional NFTs, you can use them in metaverses and other things like that, but actually taking the NFTs on our platform that are backed by an underlying physical collectible and trading that in the same way you would in person, but actually on the blockchain in the digital world, and also having that added efficiency, instantaneous nature, and security on the blockchain as well.
Yeah, that's awesome.
That's so cool.
Yes.
Yeah, I would love to see that.
Yes.
Yeah.
I didn't even think of that.
Yeah.
And the metaverse doing digital card shows or comic book shows. This is awesome. Yeah. And especially right with you guys, especially right away, you'd be able to do instant transactions, which is really huge. Oh my God.
Yep.
Yes.
Yep. And it can run all day. Like these card shows, people have to travel all across the country to access different collectors. Some people only stay in Boston or Houston or wherever for their card shows. But, someone could come from Singapore, with their cards, and then someone could come from Boston and meet on our, in the middle of the night on our platform. The card show will still be running. So
that's awesome.
That's so cool.
Nice, guys.
Wow.
All right. Well, thanks so much for you guys joining us. This has been an awesome interview. Last question. Where can our listeners learn more about your platform, stay up to date with future updates? Any socials that they should be following?
Sure. Yeah. So we're on Twitter at Viridian X, Instagram at Viridian Exchange. Go to our website, viridianexchange.com. It also has all our socials there. We have a Medium page, Viridian Exchange. But yeah, that's about it. We post most of our updates on Twitter, Instagram, LinkedIn as well. And then should be able to find all the information on our site. So yeah, definitely check those out. If you get a chance, look at our beta, you can just get some free Ethereum from the faucet and start buying cards, trading with other users, opening packs, stuff like that.
Yeah,
So
I picked up a couple cards in the
recommend
beta,
checking
and
it
it was a pretty seamless experience. Well, thanks so much, guys. Yeah, Krish and Blake, this has been awesome. Thanks so much for joining us on the podcast. And yeah, we'll definitely have to have you guys back at another point soon when things are launched.
Awesome. Thanks so much,
thanks
guys.
for having us.
Thank
Great
you.
to talk to you.
All right.
Appreciate it.
Catch you later, guys. See ya.
All right, have a
Bye.
good one.
Thanks.
Bye.
Thank you all so much for tuning in, and thank you again to Krish Moran and Blake Hatch of Viridian Exchange. We are excited to see where this goes in the future. Be sure to like, subscribe, and hit that notification button so you can be updated on our content every week. Stay awesome, and remember, fuck the moon, let's go to Mars. Music is by Ninefinger. Make sure to check out their music at ninefinger.com. And you can follow them on Instagram at ninefinger999. Be sure to check them out and send them some love.